say? Migraine, nausea, and vomiting. 2008 March. Recurring headache and migraines. September 28, 2009. Rotary cuff injury. July 2010. I had left one summer I had, this July, which is summertime. I had left the first one, left rotary cuff injury, and then the following summer I had the right one. Remind you, with the rotary cuff injuries, they only happened while I was asleep. I would wake up with them. Okay, and the doctors were like, mysteriously, like, how can that be? But nonetheless. Migraine, May 2000. What I did was choose about 15 to 20 symptoms that anxiety and panic attack, 2013. That was symptoms that's, how to say, wait, hold on. Pancreatitis. That the symptoms that could extend from infrasound frequency waves. Here, pancreatitis again. These are all hospital emergency visits. But the pancreatitis, they basically kept me for anywhere between 2 to 5 days or a week. 2018. So pancreatitis were in 2013, all summer long. Just the summer season. But I'm going to show you how many times I was there. Final diagnosis, migraines. Recurrent migraines. It's 2013. Let's go back up. Let's go over to this one. Migraine. Cause infrasound frequency. These are my observation of the cause. Not the doctors, because a lot of times they can't tell you what, when they diagnose, they don't know what the cause really are. This is 2014, March. Back injury, where they say back strain. It was injury. I was hit with direct energy weapon, which is also another word is active denial system, ADS, active denial system. That was April Fool's Day, 2015. Now with this, I came home, I was okay, they gave me Percocets and everything like that, I was okay, but I woke up, I was with a friend who stayed overnight, and they law enforcement for over 20 years. They had to go to work early in the morning, about 7, 8 o'clock. So they dropped me off. Do you know they detained me? They detained me for a whole month. They shipped me to Philadelphia Psychiatric Center. They lied about what they lied about it. The doctor put down on his paper lied about. What happened was when I went in there and said direct energy, because that might send off signals. But when I said direct energy, so that probably sent signals that in their database, but she's delusional. But I wasn't. I was in so much pain. They gave me 3 morphine shots within a 3 to 5 hour period. But they sent me to Crozier's, the other part of the building, which is the psychiatric, which is called Crozier Crisis. They sent me there, and I was like, I don't want to go there. Why are you sending me there? So I said, I'm just in pain and back injury, and I didn't want to. They wanted the bed, and I was still in pain, and so the nurse made waves for me. So her thing was to send me to Crisis, the psychiatric. So once I got there, it took me 2 hours. I'm still in mild pain, but the stuff is starting to wear off. So I'm asking for the doctors to hurry up. Can the doctor, who was supposed to be asking the questions, because the nurse said they just going to ask you a few questions and they'll release you. Well, he asked me a few questions. Next thing I know, they're wheeling in a stretcher to take me to Philadelphia. And I was in too much pain, and I didn't have the energy to try to escape or run at that time. So I ended up, they detained me. Actually, it was really a kidnapping. Because I went back on, like I said, the injury sustained on April the 1st. I went back on the 2nd. Now, remind you, I didn't know why they wouldn't tell me nothing. Almost 2 weeks later, what happened was, when I got there, it was late, about 9, 10 o'clock. The woman that checked me in, she was the head nurse. She was like, "You don't look like there's nothing wrong with you." I was like, "I know. I don't know why they got me here." I'm like, so they checking me in, removing all my personal belongings and anything that was danger to me. And the next day, I found out she was an Eastern Star sister, so she kind of looked out for me during the month. But it was just a setup. The whole thing was. So be careful when you go to emergency. You don't want to trigger, because the way that these insurance are paying the scam and everything like that, and then they try to discredit people who believe in certain things or know or have knowledge of certain things. So it's about discredit. If they discredit you, that's good. They say, "Oh, she's a basket case." Okay, final diagnosis: back injury. This was like after I came home. I'm still in pain. I'm still having back. Oh, it was terrible. I suffered a lot. If it was when I was in there that whole month of April, because I take Furoset, which is for migraines. It's a narcotics for migraines. And because my doctor, they got in contact with my doctors and they was able to give it to me, distribute it to me. But it was like only maybe like once a day or something like that. But I was in pain with this. When you're hit with DEW, active denial system, or direct energy weapon, DEW, that's like military force. It was a high dosage. They did it once. I think it was an accident. I don't think they were meant to do it like that. But the predators who did it, it did come about. My granddaughter happened to be just in front of me. We're both standing. I'm going after her. I'm trying to think. I don't think she won yet. But anyway, it wasn't for her. She had to grab that when it knocked me on the ground. She had to grab the phone so I can call her mom to come get me. Here again, nausea with vomiting. And what happened was November the 10th. This is 2015. Okay. I was smelling stuff, so I thought it was carbon monoxide or whatever, because I'm getting dizzy and sick. I didn't know it was, I just found out about Infrasound 2016, this month or something like that. So, because I've been thinking all these symptoms of electromagnetic field, which is part of it, but it goes in more depth of infrasound, of just how everything is done. So I thought it was toxic. So that's what they checked. They took a needle from me in my deep in me to see if I had carbon monoxide poison, which it came out negative and everything like that. But from that moment on, when she did the needle, it felt like my whole left arm was being electrocuted. And then I came home 2 days later, on November the 10th. I said November the 11th, I went to bed. And I started vibrating, and I haven't stopped vibrating and resonating since today. This is October 2016. And I still vibrate, but it's like, it depends on how the infrasound, how high the frequency could be. I can vibrate all day and intense if they have it high. If they lower it, I only vibrate when I lay down horizontally. And I lay down, and I'm at a lower height, and I'm like closer to the ground. And I also have heart palpitation. Okay. So here, years later, about 5 years later, I'm coming for shoulder pain. It's back to the emergency. They put shoulder pain, but it was the same pain that I experienced with rotary cuff pain. So, and that could be caused the frequency waves can cause, you know, because you sleep. Now, most of these, everything that basically, butt headaches that I've showed you, the pancreatitis, like, okay, let me go to pancreatitis here. Chronic pancreatitis, all these are dates. These are dates that I ended up in the emergency, and they're keeping me for chronic pancreatitis. And this is when you don't know, these are administration dates. When you don't know about, so you get diagnosed wrong because you don't know that you're in an environment that's structured, that's unhealthy, unstable. Infrasound is waves, sonic waves, and is how can I put it? You got to look it up. You got to research some of this yourself. You know, symptoms caused by environment, toddler infants of infrasound or EMF. This is from my observation and my experience. Toddlers and infants, constantly ear infections. I didn't know, you know, her whole first year, you know, her mother tells me that she's getting constant, every time she goes to the hospital or doctor, ear infection. And I just found out recently that she had asthma. You know, I watch her all the time. I didn't know she had asthma. Then when you look up about infrasound and stuff, the asthma's there. So she's being affected, in other words, by my environment. Which is sad, because it's like you don't want to, you know, you love your granddaughter, you love your grandchildren, period. And these are symptoms caused by environment. These are through my observation, as I said, my experience. This is what I get. Symptoms caused is unsteady balance, equilibrium. That's when I'm here all day long in my house. Whenever I will, it's like, you know, it reminds me of when someone drinks alcohol, and to the point that they're alcoholic or they're drunks or whatever, and they can't keep their balance and everything. Well, that's how it be. You be feeling it, but you don't have the alcohol effect. I think the alcohol is supposed to give you that sense of well-being or high or whatever, because I'm not an alcohol, I don't drink. So I'm walking around, got to keep on. I got to walk slowly because I've always been a fast walker, like a hyper person, even talking. So I got to go slower now because I'm like, keep going, trying to, I get off balance. Okay, you got the heart palpitation I get when I lay down, only when I lay down, not when I'm standing vertically. Nausea, suddenly, all of a sudden. Migraines. Yesterday when I came in, we went out to dinner with our family, and when I walked in my unit, I was getting hit, like, you know, you feel these things, these throbs, like on the left side, right side, on top of your head. I was like, here we go, you know. Anyway, migraine. I've been suffering from migraines for years, but it wasn't, when I suffered from migraine for years, like in 2006 and stuff, it would be, you might get within a 30-day period, like, which is a month, you might get 3 migraines. Now, when it's an environment issue, you get migraines on a weekly basis, anywhere between 7 days a week to 3 days a week. And they can they can never, sometimes they be so chronically that there's no relief the next day. You still have it. Okay, here's a dead giveaway. One of the dead giveaways is, like I said, when I came back a couple of days from the hospital from getting that blood drawn for, I thought it was carbon dioxide, my body, when I laid down to go to bed, as I drifted, my body started resonating. But the resonating, what happened was, the resonating will only start, because it depends, it's all about frequency, what kind of frequency I'm being attacked with. The body resonating, me vibrating, would only occur as I was drifting. So I start hating going to sleep, because that feeling was yucky. And so my thing is, now I resonate. What they did was, in December and so forth and so on, they upped the ante of frequency. So now I'm starting to vibrate even upon standing during the whole course of the day. No matter where I walk, or if I stood within a few, take 5 paces and stand and count to 5, you start to feel it. Because if you walk and count to 2, you're not going to feel the vibration. I mean, you take 2 steps. I'm not counting 2. Take 2 steps. You're not going to feel the vibration. I mean, if I take 5 steps and then count to 5, you can feel the vibration. But immediately you don't feel the vibration if you just tend to count it to 2. After by the time you it's like every 5 seconds you feel the vibration, no matter where you walk to. Okay, so that's a dead giveaway that it's infrasound. Okay, your body just vibrating, and you'll be surprised how your body does this. Okay, panic attacks, anxiety attacks is from infrasound. Memory, concentration. They're the culprit is EMF and infrasound, but it's a pattern. You got to look for patterns. If things is sporadic or there's no pattern, then it's you just give it up. Like I said, this is my experience. Now, remind you, you have your inner ear. What happened is that they're targeting your ear. So a lot of times, okay, you don't know. I didn't know that there's something inside your center, like in the center of your, like in between your head for your ears, that's being hit and it's making you vibrate. They're vibrating the environment too, because a way of me knowing that is that if you engage in shielding, some people engage in shielding, some people don't. Some people relocate, and sometimes it follows them. Some people relocate because in Virginia there's an area where no radio frequency is allowed. So some people may find relief by relocating to Virginia. It's like Virginia, Maryland area. So there's different ways and stuff like that. But yeah, the vibration could be like my unit. I've been here since my unit since '96. Okay, the target began probably around 2011, but I didn't realize it till 2014. But I started noticing cracks around 2013-12. I started noticing cracks, but it was only in the living room area because that was where I was centralized all the time. Because my computer, I was, everybody knew I did repair did computers. Went to school and everything, but I taught myself basically a lot. So the cracks were basically in the living room areas, and they were basically in window seals. I did modernization for housing authority, so I knew how to put up drywalls and stuff like that. So at the end, the corners of the drywall, there's a steel beam. I forgot what to call it. But that will be coming apart from the vibration that starts to, you start having cracks right there. Nails, they'll start coming out. All of a sudden you're noticing nails that you didn't know that has been covered up. They have, with the drywall. So nails starts vibrating out. So you start seeing all these cracks. And your tiles. You've been in a unit for 15 to 20 years, and now for like a year to 2 years, you're seeing all these effects, a pattern from cracked tiles, crazy. And I'm a preserver, so basically I knew how, and I'm a preserver plus good housekeeping. So it wasn't from, and then I don't have traffic, so I live very reclusive. So it wasn't they could be blamed on traffic or you're not taking care of your home and everything. It was basically infrasound, electromagnetic field. Remember, in 2011, they put smart meters on all the units, on the back of all the units. This is when a lot of the problems started. And in my row, just about everybody suffers with migraines, but where I live at, they won't put it together. And their intellect is totally different. Anyway, so again, see, with the pancreatitis, chronic pancreatitis is one of the things that the digestive system that it plays with. So here I have much more than these that I put out. I pulled out. These are all the discharge, some of the discharge from the hospitals and stuff like that. But as you can see, they printed this, the doctors and stuff, August 3rd, 2000, pancreatitis, about pancreatitis, because I didn't know what it was. My eyes was inflamed. I would go in excruciating pain. Okay, and then I had this. I had everything done. I mean, all these dates, they were doing MRIs, X-rays. What's the other one? They were doing MRI, X-rays, ultrasound, the one they look for babies and stuff. And all these dates, nothing found, nothing found, nothing found. Then on August the 18th, they pretend like they found something. I believe it was a pretend, because the way everything went down. But the procedure was optional. I didn't, by my own, I didn't want to get it done. But I was influenced by a family member, dear family member, and a close friend of mine's who passed away in 2014 or 15. Tommy. He was there because Tommy was there and Lisa was there. Oh, excuse me, I didn't mean to say no names, but they were there constantly doing visitations all the time, you know, to see me and stuff like that. So they were influenced, and they said to get it done and be over with the thing. But I believe it was more because I was in this. I went to. They had it done at this. This is where it was done at. This procedure. Okay, over Crozier. And it was set up where beds everywhere, and patients it was filled, you know, like 20 patients getting the same thing, basically the same thing done. I don't know for the same reason, but I had gotten there early in the morning, and maybe I was like maybe the 8th person, and maybe I saw about 20 people to 25 people come through getting this procedure done. And for some reason they waited the last, I was before closing, they waited to take me in to get this procedure done. And I couldn't understand why all these people going ahead of me and going bypast me. They came after me and everything like that. And then when it came to me, when it did come to my time, the doctor had went into a meeting. Now I'm sitting in this bed. Now all these beds are empty now. That was filled, and they're giving crackers and everything too. Because you had the recovery time and stuff like that after it was done. Now I'm sitting there by myself, now freaking out. I was like, oh no, what's going on? He went in a meeting, and they're trying to, you know, console me, you know, trying to keep me positive and stuff like that. And it was like a whole hour. I'm really like, I should have did this. I don't want to do this and stuff like this. I'm getting scared by the minute. So they say he's out, so they're wheeling me in and everything like that. So now I'm freaking out. The closer time I got to it, they putting this stuff on around my mouth and putting me out, putting me to sleep. And I'm expressing how fearful I am and everything. It was really funny when I think about it. But anyway, so like I said, how everything went down. That's what I suspect, that they couldn't find nothing, but. I'm not going to say what I believed what actually occurred. I'll keep that to myself right now. But anyway, again, I'm going to be signing out. Oh, I did all of these in the red and green. This is going to be memorable to me. This was done June the 30th, 2016. Reason why. I was having dermal, a lot of rash breaking out. If you look on my Facebook page, look at a certain area, that it shows these big giant, I'm swelling up in these big giant circles. They're bigger than quarters. And they're itching, I'm scratching and everything like that. And I call my son up and tell him that I'm having heart palpitation, I'm having all these issues, physical issues, health issues, illnesses. And so he was concerned. So, he told me that he's going to come and get me and take me to the hospital tomorrow. And I was like, okay. So eventually he had his cousin bring me the car, and he told me, go to Taylor. Don't mess with Crozier, go to Taylor. So I did that and everything like that. Now, I say about 8 days later, he passed. His cousin, they worked together. He got his cousin a job where he worked at. So he would allow him to drive the car a lot, and he got into a collision. Nobody was hurt. It was a mild collision, but it put the car out of commission. That's where he traveled back and forth to work. So he started utilizing his motorcycle because he didn't want to inconvenience his girlfriend at the time. So upon coming through Chester, there was a collision on 291, and he passed from that. My theory, well, I've been told there was a truck involved that hit him and clipped his wheel. So the way my life been going, the way things going, me going through a lot of things, the infrasound and target. Not too many people know what target individual means. I don't use the word individual because of what individual technically means in law, in civil law. So I say a civilian. As a civilian being targeted, it's really deep. But you would have to research and look at all this up. And the reason why and all that. Like infrasound, I want to make sure you know infrasound is basically frequency waves. And everything vibrates, everything has a frequency. Your eyeballs, you can be they can target your eyes, because if they know, scientifically a lot of people know what the frequency is for eyes. That can be targeted. For the ears, children's ears are different than adult ears. It's like animals are different from adult ears. And infrasound, it's not audible. It means that you can't hear it. So you can only experience it through feelings and stuff like that. You might get you'll see a pulsation if you happen to have shielding and you use Malar. You can see some of the pulsations in this shielding. So that's all basically what I just wanted to video this right fast for archiving. Okay, because the way the way things are going now, I better archive everything. And I've always archived things. That's what probably got me in this situation. But anyway, I'm out.